Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking to you about what to do at the end of your lease if you're over your miles. Let's go and get into it. Okay, this video is going to follow the same guidelines as the other two lease videos I have, what is a lease and the other lease end video that I have, where originally we had a vehicle that was $20,000. We leased it over 3 years. Then we effectively paid off $9,200. Now we're still on the hook and we still owe $10,800. And obviously I'm explaining to you what to do with the car itself. Now there are some of you who I imagine are worried, well, what if I just go a little bit over my miles? And there's some of you who are like, I might go way over my miles. What do I do then? Gotcha, fam. So I've got two scenarios here. I've got one that you're gonna go 2,000 miles over, which is just a little bit, meaning your odometer is gonna read 38,000 total miles. And then I've got one where you're 10,000 miles over, meaning your odometer will read 46,000 miles. Now I just put rough values on these cars. So if you're 2,000 over, we're just gonna say your car is only worth $10,500. Alternatively, if you went 10,000 miles over, we're just gonna say it's worth $9,000. So these are just simple numbers. I didn't like Google or do anything like that. These are just easy numbers just for a simple video. So now if you watch my other lease end video, you know that you have 3 options at the end of your lease. I'm gonna go over each one of those with you about what to do at the end of your lease if you're over your miles. So number 1, you can buy the vehicle. You can buy your own car. So if you it's called a lease buyout. If you do a lease buyout on a normal lease where you're just normally in your miles, you just take this residual value, well, this $10,800, meaning what you still owe at the end of your lease, you just refinance it and you just keep on driving the car. It's effectively buying a used car, you're just buying your own used car. That's the easiest way to think about it. However, when you go over on your miles, that can become a little bit muddied and become a little bit more difficult. Here's why. Banks can only loan you so much on any given vehicle versus what it's actually worth on a percentage. Now, that's called loan to value or LTV. I'm not gonna get into the specifics or what the exact percentages are just for a simple video, but just understand that can become difficult. Now, I'm gonna get into that right now. So, in this particular scenario, both of these, we have negative equity, meaning our vehicle is worth less than we owe on it in differing amounts. Obviously, if you're 2,000 miles over, there's only a $300 difference, which isn't really that big of a deal. If you go into buy out your lease or you just call the manufacturer, tell them you want to do it, or go to your local bank, that type of thing, all of those are worthwhile methods. That $300 is not really that big of a deal. You can usually just walk in and just do it. You know, $300 isn't a lot of money. Alternatively, if you are 10,000 miles over and you have a significant jump like this $1,800, depending on the percentage, the bank may require you to put some or all. They might ask you to cover that entire amount so you can continue to drive the vehicle and that LTV can be right. So that's usually a bank thing, not normally a dealership thing. So just be on the lookout for that. Now, you can also trade it. Trading is effectively the same thing as if you had originally purchased the vehicle. So if you're just gonna look in and you're gonna walk into a new dealership, you wanna buy a new car, lease another new car, buy a used car, you can do all of that. It's really not any different than if you had just purchased the vehicle to begin with. It's really just a different way to purchase a vehicle when you lease it. So you still, once again, have paid some of the equity off, or paid some of the principal rather, that's the proper word. You paid the car off. It's really no different. So it's effectively all you're doing is just trading a vehicle in with negative equity. So if you walk in, you're interested in another vehicle that's $10,000, assuming you had, I'm really gonna assume you had some down payment in this particular scenario where it's worth $10,500, but you still owe $10,800, you're just negative $300. That's just $300 less that's going towards the new vehicle. Alternatively, if you are once again negative $1,800 and you're 10,000 miles over, that once again, very similarly to the buy scenario, you may be asked to cover that $1,800 worth of negative equity and put some down payment towards the new vehicle. Once again, that's going to depend on your credit, that type of thing. So that's what you can expect if you go to trade the vehicle. It's really a similar scenario. It's just on a new vehicle, a different vehicle instead of the vehicle you currently have. And lastly, you can return it. Now, this is the big one. This is the only time you will ever incur your 15, 20, 12, whatever cent per mile penalty. I'm gonna say that again. This is the only time you'll ever have to directly pay the manufacturer your % per mile penalty, period. When you go to return the vehicle, assuming you have both keys and there's no major damage on the car, different manufacturers have different allotments for how much damage they allow. You have to talk to your manufacturer about that. you're good to go. Usually you only have to pay a return fee, and that's usually around $250. It's usually not a whole bunch, but I still don't want to pay it because I'm cheap. But, so you'll have that $250 return fee, assuming you have both keys. Like I said, if you're missing a key, they'll probably make you pay for that. If there's damages, they'll probably make you pay for that as well. Now, that's the only time you'd ever pay your per mile penalty. So we're just gonna say 15 cents. So if you're 2,000 miles over, you'd end up paying $300 directly to the manufacturer, or if you're 10,000 miles over, you'd end up paying $1,500 to the manufacturer you leased from. So those are your three options. That's what you can expect if you go to trade in a lease, but you're over your miles. It's really pretty simple. Hopefully you liked the video. Please let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to like and subscribe. Take care, everybody.